Hey guys, this is Kevin at Faith Chapel. I thought it'd be a great time to give you a glimpse of a project that we've been working on. We've created an alternative to the standard check-in application provided by Ministry Platform. We did this to address some problems that we perceived were creating a less than desirable congregant experience. To solve these problems, we concluded that we really needed to redefine how check-in, especially how first-time check-in, worked. The biggest problem that we were really trying to solve was the first-time guest check-in experience. First time they've showed up for the church and need to get their kids set up in our check-in system. We found that for them it was slow, it was frustrating, and we had a lot of negative feedback from our first-time attendees. They had an experience where they thought that the kids' experience was great, they thought that the worship and teaching was awesome, but they certainly didn't expect the 5, sometimes 10 minutes with the wait in line experience of getting their kids set up. Weren't expecting that. Oftentimes would leave them late for service, and just not how we wanted their first time to go. And we really did contribute to the fact that this was due to the interview process, the concept of a first-time check-in desk. And just about every system that we have evaluated all had the same premise, that you would have a well-trained volunteer or someone who would interview the person who's coming up, get the names of their family and kids, and set them up correctly. And it's really based on the premise that they have to have complete access to the database, and obviously you can't let anybody who walks up to the screen unvetted be able to start messing around on the database. So therefore, let's have somebody who knows what they're doing, knows all the right ways to set them up, interview the person, and really find out who's in their family and all that information. Problem with that is it's verbal. You're usually surrounded by other conversations. Sometimes you don't hear everything they say. They don't speak clearly. Also, spelling of names or even understanding the complexity of a family can be confusing sometimes. It just takes a long time. So we thought we would redefine the process. We thought if we could let the congregant enter their own information and make it quick and easy for them to do so, that we could speed the process up considerably. So here's what we came up with. When you walk up to our first-time check-in experience, you will see a screen that really just asks for 3 pieces of information. What's your first name, your last name, and your date of birth? We're going to use this to match you against our database. If we can find those matches, we're going to go ahead and bring up the family for you and let you make changes or additions. If we can't find that match, we're going to go ahead and set up a new contact record and household and let you build the family or build the kids that you're bringing with you. So to demonstrate this, I'm going to go ahead and bring up my own family. So you can see it brings up my family, my wife, and 2 kids. At this point, I have an option to make adjustments. I really can't make adjustments to the database. We're not going to go that far, but we are going to let the congregant let us know if there's a problem. So in this case, I'm just going to click on one of my children and let the church know that there might be something that needs to change. At this point, I'm just given several options of things that might be wrong. Maybe the name is spelled incorrectly. Maybe this child listed here shouldn't be listed with my family. Maybe it was a friend that we had brought to church a few months ago, and he's was added to the family incorrectly, and I just need to let you know about this. Or, their grade might be the wrong grade when they went to check in, so they're just going to let us know that needs to change. Or it could just be something in general, kind of a free form, hey, here's how you need to adjust the members of my family. In this case, what we're doing is we're creating what we are calling a data note, which is basically just a data integrity ticket for us to follow up with. And our commitment is that by the next week, we're going to follow up with this information so that their record is correct next week. So that's how I can make changes to my family. But maybe in this case, I want to add a child to my family. Could be a new child that just has joined the household. Or in this case, my son's friend Johnny is coming with us to church. So, Johnny Test, enter his birth date, And I have an option now to select a relation. This is really, what is the relationship this child has to the adult and to this household? Could be my child, in which case we would either add them to the family or conditionally add them if they're already part of the database. Grandchild or relative. Many times we had a grandparent that would bring their grandchild regularly. They wanted them to show up in their household, but we didn't want to add them to their household because that wasn't really their child. I wanted to then avoid as much confusion in our database as possible. So now we just give them a very intuitive option to pick, and then we set up the child in the background the way they need to be. And in this case, friend or neighbor. And we're immediately posed with the question, would you like to see this child every time you check in? So what this is going to do is it's just going to create a shows and check-in relationship. Not going to add Johnny to my household. It's going to create, first of all, it's going to see, is this Johnny already in the database somewhere? If it is, we're just going to use his record. If he's not, we're going to go ahead and create a new contact in household, create him in his own household, and add this shows and check-in relationship. And this question here is, do I leave that end date open, in which case he's going to show up in my household until I ask the church to remove him? Or if I say, no, this is just a one-time deal, we'll put an end date that's 3 days in the future. So the next weekend, I show up, enter in, bring up my family, I'm not going to see Johnny listed. So at this point, no, he is not a regular check-in relationship. Pick up gender and grade, and on we go. Now you see Johnny has been added to my household. I can add as many kids as I want to at this point. In each case, if they already exist, we'll use them out of their record out of the database, but if they do not, we will go ahead and create them. And then I'm ready to check in. We move over to our check-in side of the system, and you see now my family includes Johnny, and screen resolution here is a little different, so there's a guest indication that lets us know it's because the CSS is not showing up on this recording. But at this point, I can go ahead and click on any of the household members that I want to check in. We redesigned this check-in screen as well. One of the problems that we found in previous check-in systems is when you had a large family, especially a large family with multiple check-in options, we didn't want to have to scroll. So many times it would scroll off the screen and congregants would be confused and think that they're not listed when really they just had to scroll down. So everything here is in sight, and when you click on them, you can check them in. In this case, my daughter has 2 check-in options. She can go to youth group, or she can serve in kids ministry. And so this is saying, which of these things are you trying to check into? And when we are all done, also you'll notice in the case of my wife, her record or her badge is grayed out because she does not have a check-in option available to her. There is no service at this point that she could check into. So we'll go ahead and complete and print, which obviously in this method we wouldn't see the badges that is created. Standard check-in tags similar to what Ministry Platforms application creates. All in all, we've been very happy with it. We have had a great response from congregants, from first-time guests. What we have found is it is incredibly fast in comparison, a fraction of the time. We rolled this out, of all things, on Christmas Eve for our Christmas Eve services. It handled the situation very well, and had really, with only 2 stations, no lines. And that's one of the experiences we've had. We've completely eliminated anybody waiting in line, and in some cases we've had congregants walk up to the system and just start typing in their information and really virtually unassisted get all the way through, setting themselves up, printing their badges, and have had more than one turn to us and say, wow, that was easy. So it's been a very positive thing, both our check-in attendance. One of the things that I think is great is instead of having an interview or even interrogation process where the person has to try and pull information out of the congregant, our attendants now really get to be more of a host. They get to stand next to them, help them when they get stuck, but it just creates a different vibe that we are very happy with. So there you go. That's what we've come up with, kind of our new check-in system. We've been using it for about 60 days and have been really happy with it. So hope that gives you guys something to think about, and thanks for watching.